Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown, and our Sunday celebration. Today is October 29th, 2023, and I'm delighted to be here wrapping up the end of our October theme, which is playing with paradox. So I'd like to first mention, speaking of paradox, we're going to begin this service with an actual paradox, because I was supposed to have a co-facilitator, Lori Carlson. And unfortunately, Lori had some exposure to someone who had COVID. And out of a tremendous amount of respect for everyone and her integrity, and caution, she decided she will not be here, but she will be listening, watching in. And she had prepared a couple of things for the service, so I will be doing them on her behalf. And the two of those are, what is she doing? She's doing the music. She selected two beautiful songs for us. And she also had developed a practice that we will use later on, which is going to be a little bit of a surprise. So stay tuned. Anyway, like I said, today is our Sunday celebration. Our global theme for ICSL for the whole year is Living Out Loud. This month of October is Playing with Paradox. And this week's topic is the genius of the and, A-N-D. And the title of my talk is I Use My Genius and Open to New Possibilities. So let's begin where we begin, which is the rest of the welcome, which is this has been an incredible month for our center. I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of paradox in the world. There's a lot of conflict in the world. There's a lot of who's right, who's wrong. And so this month has been rich with possibilities for 5 Sundays for us to deliver something to you that really gets you thinking about paradox and how important it is to entertain, allow, and then work with paradox in your life. And later on, we will talk a little bit about how we actually have a lot of paradox in our teaching. So stay tuned to that. So I will begin where we always begin with everything we do here at the center, with an opening spiritual mind treatment, which we call it spiritual mind treatment, and it's also known as affirmative prayer. So if you feel like joining me, you may close your eyes and take a deep breath. And let's together recognize that there is just this one life. There is only this one life. And this one life is so full of infinite possibilities, variations, diversity, opposites, and also solutions. And so this is the God that I know. This is the God that is here present, has been present since the very beginning of time, and even before that. And I know that as we enter the last week of our Playing with Paradox month, there is an opening that is created in the hearts and the minds of everyone to see this, hear this, or know about this idea of paradox and this actual Sunday celebration. A willingness to allow paradox in one's life, a willingness to allow for the diversity, regardless of whether it's something that as individuals we agree with or not. For it truly is the time, the right time, to begin dealing with paradox in a deeply more clear way, in a way that is spiritual. And so I invoke this acceptance of paradox and working with paradox. I accept it, this willingness and this working with, for each and every one who hears this at any point in time. For I know this is truly, truly by God design. And so I know that all that unfolds as a result of this, as a result of our beautiful teaching this morning, our beautiful music, and those who have shown up, those who will see it in the future, just knowing that there is this amazing, amazing opportunity to embrace paradox and allow for God's greater idea And isn't that what we in our teaching are doing anyway? So with gratitude, I say, thank you, Mother, Father, God, universal spirit, the one that is not one sex or the other. It is all-inclusive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I release this into universal law with deep and profound gratitude. I let go, I let God, and I truly know it's done. And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen. So from that place and that space within you of joining in the prayer, of allowing your feeling of God to be present within you, I invite you to take this feeling that you have and bring it forth into our Namaste practice. And so Namaste, for anyone who might not know, is a practice of honoring the divinity in another person, acknowledging your own divinity. So I'm going to ask you, if you feel comfortable, to turn to someone, turn to a couple of people. If it's somebody you don't know, even better, okay? So, and the phrase that you use, the affirmation is, the divine in me. So think about that, the divine in me, breathe it in. The divine in me, now take that breath, feel it. And that's when then you say, you look at the other person more deeply and you say, honors and recognizes the divinity in you. Okay? The divine in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. So, please feel free. And you will take turns.
Namaste. Divine in me. Honors and recognizes the divine in you.
The divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. And thank you for that correction.
Thank you. Divine in me. Namaste. Namaste. Look at all these people. All right.
Okay. And for our first selection, we will have Karen Drucker, I Am Open.
Possibility. I am open to the possibility of a life that is meant to be lived by me. I am open to the possibility. I am open to the possibility of a life that is meant to be lived by me. I don't have all the answers now, but I'm willing to take it slow. I believe that something is calling me where the path will lead. I don't know, but I am open to the possibility. I am open to the possibility of a life that is meant to be lived by me. to the possibility. I am open to the possibility of a life that is meant to be lived by me. I am open.
I don't know about you, but I'm open to a possibility. I'm open to a possibility that there's a solution for war. I'm open to that there's a solution for the leaders to get their heads on straight so that we can actually have a world that works for everyone. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about why our teaching is one of the greatest ways to go with dealing with paradox. So again, thank you, Lori Carlson, for that beautiful song. And I wanted to just mention and do a little recap of this month because it's been really powerful. And if you've attended or seen the other services or celebrations, you would know that because the first week, Reverend Frankie talked about the whole idea of paradox. She defined it for us, right? Paradox is two seemingly opposite things occurring or being thought of at the same time. Now, I don't know about you, but I have had paradoxes in my life, and I think everyone has. We may not have recognized them as paradoxes, but they have been. And so Reverend Dr. Frankie, who is, by the way, is away for the last week of this month, and will be back next Sunday. We look forward to her coming back and know that her sabbatical has been something that's been enriching and replenishing and fulfilling for her. So she comes back to us full and we get to hear her next week. And I was saying in the first service that she did for this topic, she talked about how she works with paradox by going into silence. So that's one method that works for her and that she shared with us. Then Reverend Janice talked about her personal experience of paradox, how she works with paradox. She gave us a practice that we will use later, a different kind of practice, but using hand movements that really help the body kind of follow along the mind and what you're trying to tell the body to do. So, and then Lori Carlson really did a beautiful talk about and a practice where you actually get to practice dealing with and allowing the discomfort that comes with paradox, which is something that I think we all know on some intuitive level, if not already. And I did one that had to deal with using curiosity and our vulnerability to allow for paradox so that the greater idea can come through. Because there's always a greater idea of God available to us. There's always a solution available to us. We, in our small human minds, which may seem very big for as an individual, the mind can seem pretty big, but there are all of us running around here having an individual experience of the world. And getting us to cooperate, getting us to work through our problems, find solutions has been a challenge, as we all know. So, and today we're going to talk about, talking about playing with paradox, that was the whole month. And then we're going to talk about the genius of the and. The and is when you hold the two opposites in mind and you allow for something greater. And we've been working with this concept, working up to today, where we get to experience it in another way. So really being able, and the gift of curiosity, the gift of the genius that is in everyone. we have genius in each one of us, and that genius is the part of us that is our imagination. It's the part of us that allows us to have more, be more, know more, and allow for more. So we are hoping, right? Always hoping and always moving toward finding solutions, possibilities, and potential for solving issues, for just being more inclusive. This is a world that, like it or not, we are inclusive, and we need to embrace that. We need to embrace that with an acceptance and understanding of all the differences, of all the different lifestyles, of all the different ways of doing things, so that together we can find something greater. Okay, so we believe, obviously, in the one mind. That is our teaching. And our teaching is a great way to work with not just the concept and the ideas of paradox, but also to embrace the paradox mindset. And we believe, this is our teaching, this is our fundamental belief. We believe in the one mind, that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. How many of us know that? How many of us feel that we are in some way part and parcel of creating our own lives and really taking a, yes, I see, yes. Good, I'm glad. I thought I'm not the only one, right? So, so the paradoxes that we embrace in spirituality are, it may seem common now, but things like masculine and feminine, those can be seen as opposites. The seen and the unseen world. We talk about that, we work with that. Consciousness and form, right? Consciousness and form are two ways of looking at whatever's happening in our lives as seen by, if you want to say, by God. Because God sees it all, knows it all, provides it all, and gives it all. So that we are open to the life that God has given us. And so, it's warm in here, I'm sorry. I had to pull my hair back. The paradox for today, for me, was coming in here, it was really chilly, and now that I'm here, it's kind of warm. So, welcome to the United States of America, right? So, living in the world, but not in the world, not of the world. We talk about that in our teaching. We are in the world, but we are not of the world. So we get to experience, know, and cultivate a deeper experience of ourselves as that unseen, not yet manifest spiritual side of ourselves that we work with and we cultivate. So the yin-yang symbol, who's familiar with that, right? It's what seemingly looks like opposites, the dark side, the light side. If you notice, in that actual figure is, in the darkness, there's a small space of light. In the light, there is a small space of darkness. So it acknowledges the paradox of life. So spirituality calls us to really develop new ways of seeing things, really develop new ways of being in the world. And we say in our teaching that it is not perfect, but it is perfection in the process. There is perfection in the process of God's divine unfoldment. I need some more, excuse me. So you see my humanity even as I talk about divinity. Thank you, Kathleen.
Sure.
Okay, so spirituality is always calling us to find new ways. That's a form of gravity, right? Something dropped, that's an invisible law that's working all the time, gravity. So whenever something happens that we don't understand, it's important to notice that there's some kind of activity going on in spiritual law. And we work with spiritual law. That's what we do. We know that there is this invisible law, several laws, right? There's the law of circulation, there's the law of attraction, there's the law of abundance, there's the law of forgiveness, there's the law of growth, and there are many, many more. Most people just think of the law of attraction, right? But it's so much more than that, and we can tap into all of that. We can call that forth, each one of them. So part of our paradox is that we believe that there's one mind that is common to all, and yet we only know our individual mind. So that's something we have to, in our teaching and in New Thought, really be able to embrace and accept. So behind all that is seen is what is unseen. As we develop the paradox mindset, we become able to allow something greater. And that's scary for the human ego. I'm going to tell you that. It's really scary for the human ego because the human ego loves to know what's going on, loves to know that it's in control, loves to know that it's right. And so we actually work with that in ourselves because it's always a dance between our spiritual side and our ego self. And neither one is right or wrong, more right or wrong than the other, but the spiritual is always seeking a greater expression in us. And so working with a mindset of paradox really enables us to do that. Ernest Holmes said, healing is a revealing of truth. So what seems to be the ultimate truth in your life may be for the time, but there may be another spiritual truth available to us. So there is no stagnation in spirit, nor should there be in our idea of spirituality. To be spiritual is to create. The spirit is alive, conscious, aware, and active. And that's from our founder again, Dr. Ernest Holmes. So in working with paradox, I have a practice from Lori that she's given us. So I'd like to take a minute to just set up my little bag of tricks here. And you wonder, what is that, right? So the metaphor of a glass half full, right? The metaphor of a glass half full. And something with the lid on it. There we go. So I am pouring this glass half full, right? Everybody sees it's half full. Mm-hmm. Okay. So half full relates to something that we already have as a fixed belief. All right? Half full is something we have as a fixed belief that is, it's just what we believe. So, do you see the glass as being half full, half empty? What do you see?
Half full.
Half full, okay. Some people would see it as half empty, right? Because there's room here now for more. However, it's even greater than that. We are talking about a paradox. This is a visual paradox because one person will see it one way, one person will see it the other way. And, and there might be disagreement about that, right? There might be some kind of disagreement because, no, look, it's only half full. No, it's half empty. So that's just an idea, a practice of how we can get caught up in this or that, either or. And the and that we're talking about, the genius of the and, which so many people have embraced, is really something that we are capable of. So look at that. There you go. It's one or the other, right? What do you think would happen if I fill this up more? Eventually, it would overflow. Eventually, God would fill it up. Eventually, it would run over and you would see trickles that represent divine inspiration, a new idea, a new possibility. And that's what we do every time that we play with paradox. So, and one of the things we know in our teaching is that we are always full. God is always filling us up. God is always giving us more and more. It's us who gets fixed on that little half empty, half full perception. And it's all about perception. It's all about perception. How do you perceive yourself? How do you perceive the world? How do you perceive one another? How do you perceive the problems of the world? I don't know how many times I've heard there's no solution to this. There's always going to be war. There's always going to be fill in the blank. And that could lead people to be resigned about it, to be really resigned and just accept it's the way it is, just go along to get along, having our own fixed belief, but not really acknowledging that there's other ideas. And so when we get challenged, we are called to have curiosity. We are called to be vulnerable. We are called to have an open mind. And the first thing that will close anybody's mind is fear. Fear has a way of making people stay so fixed in their belief, in their perception. Some people would rather die for it. Now that's extreme. That's very extreme. But how many people do you know that will fight for what they believe and not allow the other perception, not allow the other possibility? And so they're stuck right here in this half-filled, half-empty thing, right? When God's greater idea is ready to be poured in, a new idea, a new solution, a new possibility, a new potential is ready and waiting. We just need to allow and invite it. So is there any, I want to say, any paradox in your life? Think about that. Any paradox in your life? Yes?
May I?
You
Just
may.
ask a question. So you're saying by looking at the glass as half full and half empty creates a space for, in this case, we're talking like divinity to
A
fill
new
the
idea,
gap,
a new
the
idea.
glass, and even to overflowing.
So what you're doing is you're doing with your visual sight what people do in their imagination with their eyes closed. You think of one thing that is so profound or so definite in your mind, and then you think of the other thing that is the opposite of that.
So it's this and that.
It's this or that becomes this and that.
And that, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so I will just bring this over here. Because now we are going to do a practice. And it's one that I was inspired by Reverend Janice's practice a couple weeks ago. Last week, actually. Beautiful practice. She loves to use hand mudras. And hand mudras are excellent for moving energy, moving thought, waking your body up to pay attention to what you're saying and thinking, because sometimes we just go on automatic. So hand mudras are used because they're intentional. They intentionally shift your thinking, your focus, or your experience. So, and a lot of people use that in meditation. So today, I would like you to close your eyes. So I invite you to think about someone you know that you have a big disagreement with. Someone you know that you either fight with them out loud or you fight with them in your mind. Because you know your feeling, your perception is the right one. And it is, it's the right one for you. But they say the opposite, or something so conflicting that you can't reconcile the two. So give that some thought. I invite you to relax as you think about this and take away the actual person, just the idea that really irritates you. And take yourself out of the equation too. What your opinion is what you are seeing. And so you are allowing, as this kind woman asked, to see in your mind's eye, with your imagination, the issue or whatever feeling or statement that you feel is so right, and then that other one that is so against, fill in the blank, against what you believe, against what you want. Against how you want things to be. And just hold those two in your mind. Don't try to change either. What will be helpful right now is to just take a breath and allow those two opposites in your mind and see them. And then relax your face, relax your eyes, take a breath. And as you are still looking at, in your mind's eye, that conflict, that paradox, I invite you to take another breath and feel that breath flow through those images. And I invite you to allow both to just be, without feeling, without emotion, without judgment. And allowing them to be, I invite you to open your eyes, take a breath, and if you feel moved to join me, we're going to do some hand movements. Okay? So, if you feel like standing, might be easier if you're standing or sitting. Just hold those two in mind. These two opposites. And now, the one that you believe in and feel firmly is the truth for you, or for everybody. The truth, though. And you raise your arm, and I'll do it first. First, raise your right arm and say, no, just I'll do it first so you can follow me. I allow this being what you believe, and I allow that. And then you take a breath, and then you say, I allow both. Take a breath, and I am open to a new idea. Okay, so let's begin with your right hand. What you believe. I accept this. I accept that. Without the other hand, right? Okay, I did it wrong.
I
Just
accept
one hand, yeah, and I'm trying to accept that too. So, I allow this,
I
which is
allow
what,
this.
place your arm down. I allow that.
Allow that.
I accept both of those.
Accept both.
This is my and.
This
Say,
is my.
this is
This
my
is my
and.
and.
Take a breath. And I am open to a greater possibility.
And I
I am
am
open
to a greater possibility.
Let's do that one more time. Your belief, I accept this. The other belief, I accept that. I accept
Both.
both. Take a breath. Let the breath go through the conflict. And I am open to a greater possibility.
And
And I
I
am
am
open to a greater possibility.
And bring your hands down to your heart. Take a nice breath. And see how that feels. Whether or not at this point you've been able to reconcile them or reconcile them a lot, it's okay. You're working in your mind and you're allowing yourself to consider both at the same time. Allow for both at the same time. Relax into allowing them at the same time, right? And then coming open to allowing the greater idea, the greater solution, the greater possibility. So, thank you for doing this practice.
Thank you.
Alrighty, another song picked out by Lori by Daniel Namrod. And it is Swing Wide the Doors, the Doors of Consciousness.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Here we go now. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors
your consciousness and allow for the paradox. I would like to also share with you some of the paradoxes that, sorry, there we go. First of all, we live with paradox every day. It's in our language. Less is more. That's a paradox. Do the thing you think you cannot do. If you don't risk anything, you risk everything. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. The more you give, the more you get. The best way out is always through. See, it's peppered throughout our language. The louder you are, the less they hear. And that's the truth. The only constant is change. The pen is mightier than the sword. And here are a few famous quotes by, I would say, I think we all would agree, were geniuses who knew how to use the and. Whatever you do in life will be insignificant, but it is very important that you do it. Gandhi, came from Gandhi. Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none. That was Albert Einstein. I know one thing, that I know nothing. And that was Socrates. And there's another one that's in our history. It's, well, by one of our presidents, I'll say. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Does anyone know who?
Teddy Roosevelt?
Roosevelt.
Absolutely, Teddy Roosevelt. So the wisdom, hopefully, is in our leaders now, right? He had that wisdom back then. So I invite you to just play with paradox in your life. Take it into your meditation. Or when you feel yourself reacting strongly, like you have the right idea, and this is how it's going to be, pause, take a breath. You don't have to change your mind about what you're going to do, but allow that another possibility, even the opposite, is worthwhile. And out of the two, when you can accept the opposing thoughts, ideas, paradoxes, conflicts, and go with it, and say, this is so, and this is so. I accept that both are so, and I'm allowing for a greater idea, a new solution. Okay, thank you for taking this journey with me. And we also have Lori's presence with us today, so we honor that for sure. And now is the time that we show our appreciation for our beloved center and our teaching. It's our conscious giving. It's our knowing that there is only abundance in the universe. Just like we say there's only love, that's a paradox that we believe, by the way. In Science of Mind, there is only love. Oh, but what about this? What about what that person did or said? What about what I'm feeling right now? Is that love? Well, you know what? In the final analysis, it is, because love is the matrix. It is a divine matrix within which we all live, move, and have our being. No matter whether we see it, feel it, or even experience it, it's there. It's a scaffolding. God's love is the scaffolding of our universe. And it blankets us, not just with its love, but with its abundance, with its creativity, with its wisdom, with its joy. And so I am acknowledging now that there is abundance in the universe. There's abundance for all of us. And we get to declare that. We get to practice. This is a time of practice, spiritual practice, spiritual giving. So I invite you to give in whatever way you are moved to give. Certainly, I have a basket that I will sending around if you feel moved to give in the basket. If you can give online at our website, you can give through text, and you can drop a check off in the middle of the week. So, and if we're not here, slip it under the door. So, so let us know together, and certainly tithing, and certainly volunteering. All of that, every way that we are in service here in our beloved center, serves our center, serves the greater humanity, serves the intention and the commitment that we have to accept paradox in life and to work with it and to help people who come into our doors work with paradox and know a greater experience for themselves and the world. So I invite you now to join with me in our abundance affirmation. Divine love consecrates my gift.
Divine love
consecrates my gift.
It goes forth
It goes forth
to heal, to prosper, and to bless.
to heal, to prosper, and to bless.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And I know,
And I know,
as I share my good,
as I share my good,
I accept my greater good.
I accept my greater good.
Thank you.
So
And so it is, yes, we always end with and so it is. So, alrighty. So this is our time for announcements. We have a few papers here because we have some things going on. We have some great things going on. First and foremost, we are so happy that we will be having a meeting for our entire congregation, for our friends and family members, anyone who loves this teaching, loves this center, is interested in finding out what we're doing and also how they can make their voice known. It's a meeting that we'll be having on November 15th, which is
19th, I think, isn't
November, it says here 15th. I think it is, yeah, the Sunday. It's the 19th. Okay, we have a typo. Houston, we have a typo. Okay, so, yeah, November 19th, after Sunday service. If you plan to attend, you need to let us know, because we need to plan for materials that we will be passing out. And you do that by either emailing or calling the center. Our phone number is 973-539-3114. Yes? No? Okay. Well, go to our website.
That's what we do.
www.cslmorristown.org. Okay, and we also have an incredible concert coming up with Rhonda Dene. If you have been here on other Sundays, if you have watched some of our services, Rhonda is a blessing. She's a musical inspiration. She's an angel. Her voice is phenomenal. We are having this concert with her Friday, November 10th at 7 p.m. right here in our sanctuary. And tickets are $20. You can go online and you can purchase them there. You can pay at the door. But it's going to be an awesome event. It's always magical with Rob. Okay, so the next thing we have is that Reverend Frankie is bringing back her book discussion group on the untethered soul. That will be for 5 Sundays after service, beginning November 5th. So feel free to show up. There's also a way to register. And she had such a great time, and it was so inspiring last time. She's doing it again. And last but not least, something that is not being done by our center, but is being done by the Center for Spiritual Living in Bolger Center in Potomac, Maryland. It's a retreat from 5:30 on a Friday through 5:30 on a Saturday in Maryland. It is, there's a fee, obviously. You can sign up. There are flyers here. The posting is on our website. I have gone to this maybe about 10 years ago, and it was really, really powerful. I felt it very inspiring, and it kind of deepened me spiritually a bit. Alrighty, so this is our time to say thank you for coming, thank you for watching, thank you for being present with us. We always want to be present for you. And we close with a spiritual mind treatment. Okay, so let's take a breath. And I know right here and right now that God is the God of everything, the all, the every, and infinite possibilities. And it is also the God of paradox. It is the God of not just the either or, it's the God of the and both. Because God is always reaching forth to bring forth new positive ideas, new solutions, new possibilities, new potential for healing, for mending, for resolving, for gifting each and every one in the universe with absolutely everything that's needed. And I know that God is in me. I know that God is in everyone present here. I speak this word knowing that as we commune for this service, we commune in the one mind. And as each one of us works with, contemplates, allows, and even embraces the paradoxes in life, all the solutions necessary to solve the world's problems will be at hand. And I know that hearing these words and working with paradox, there is a greater willingness in each person's heart to not only believe what they believe, what each one of us believes, but also to allow for the other, even the opposite. And in so doing, we are creating a greater space within ourselves to embody God, to embody spirit. It's that simple. The ego, which likes to edge God out, likes to have just one solution, just one idea, just one truth. And the ultimate reality with a capital R is that there are many truths. Probably there are an infinite number of truths. For each individual has their own truth, and then there's greater truth. And the greater truth that I know, that our beloved teaching, Science of Mind, knows, is that all are created equal. All have equal access to God. All have equal access to solutions. And so as we bring forth our willingness to live with faith that solutions are not only possible, they are at hand, we open both of our hands to accept both this and that, and develop an and mindset, a mindset of paradox, a mindset that frees us from our limiting thoughts, from our limiting solutions, from our limiting perspectives and experiences, and embraces the all. Because simply that's what God's doing with each and every one of us all the time. And I want to say, if God can do it, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try my best. I will never do it as well as God, but I will do my best. And that's all anyone can ask for, to just create that opening, to just be willing. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Science of Mind. I'm grateful for paradoxes. I'm grateful for being challenged in the way that paradoxes challenge me. I'm grateful for the way that I have to stretch sometimes to consider an opposite viewpoint. I'm grateful for the way that somehow I find it within myself to do that. Maybe not so gracefully, and maybe not so easily, and sometimes it's kind of bumpy, and so what? Because that's all God. And so instead of feeling I have to be perfect, I know there's perfection in the process. I know that God is perfecting life each and every moment, and that it never, never, never ends. So I can just relax and allow. I allow this truth that's spoken, these words uttered to just be appreciated. I surrender them. I let them go into the spiritual law of life. I do so with complete faith and conviction, and knowing that since it's been spoken, truly, even now, it is already done. And so it is.
And
so it is.
Amen.
Amen.